Hello, family. So I wanted to come on really quick and share this dream that God gave me the other day about Philadelphia. So I was woken up very early in the morning. I was dreaming and I heard a voice say to me in the dream, "Pray for Philadelphia for 7 hours straight." Then I heard coup d'etat. And a coup d'etat means a sudden, violent, and unlawful seizure of power from a government, a coup, a military coup d'etat brought down the government. It also means an overthrow or a takeover or ousting or a regime change, a place of revolution, a rebellion, a revolt, an insurrection, a mutiny. And that's what the Holy Spirit was telling me was going on in Philadelphia. And when the Holy Spirit told me that, in the dream, I heard myself think gray state. I thought it out loud. As soon as I thought it out loud, I was instantly shown a vision, and it looked identical to what you're about to see right now.
What we're going to see is the unveiling of this gray state foisted upon America.
I tell you, what the Lord showed me was identical to what you just watched in that clip. It was soldiers killing people in the streets. It was nowhere to run. The streets was just crowded with bodies and people. And then the dream ended. When I woke up, I began to pray instantly. When I was done praying, I looked at the clock and it was very early in the morning, about 5 something in the morning. I instantly went to the internet and I Googled, "Is the military in Philadelphia?" And lo and behold, this is what I found. The first thing that popped up was the Pennsylvania National Guard was deployed to Philadelphia to its Emperor's New Suit Center. So I thought that was important that we know Philadelphia has a Emperor's New Suit Center located there. And so I'm not going to pause it. You can pause the video to read these articles. And the next thing I found was important is that FEMA has registered Philadelphia as Region 3. So if you live in Philadelphia, you want to know they have your state listed as Region 3. I thought that that was important, but I knew this could not be what the Holy Spirit was talking about because this information was in 2021. So I kept digging, and then I found the smoking gun. On June the 22nd of 2023, the Associated Press came out with this article. Military vehicles in downtown Philadelphia were part of a Flag Day celebration. Philadelphia, USA filmed yesterday armored vehicles moving through another city. You're not telling me this is simply a national military training exercise, reads one post from last Saturday, sharing the video on Twitter. This was Philadelphia yesterday. I am told that they are strategically placing equipment all over the country and even in Canada, reads another post from the same day, sharing the video on Twitter, which has more than 10,000 likes as of Thursday. But the reason for the military vehicle presence in Philadelphia was far less diabolical than suggested. The vehicles were on their way to be displayed to the public for the Stripes and Stars Festival, a celebration of Flag Day and the Army's 248th birthday. So the government is on their South Park. They're like, "Move along, people. It's nothing to see here," type deal. I know what you think you're seeing, but trust me, what you think you're seeing is not what you're actually seeing, even though you're seeing it. Right. It doesn't make sense. And that's how the public is starting to feel like something is not quite adding up. It says the video shows two large military vehicles and a military truck on Walnut Street in the city's downtown. In the background of the video, the storefront of Goldberg Jewelers on 16th Street can be seen. Social media users have shared the video on Twitter and TikTok. So I kept reading videos that it was posted on Twitter. I'm not on Twitter. I don't have no social media accounts, but I did come to YouTube and I found this guy's channel right here, Riverside Homestead Life. He's posted about it, and I can't show you everything for copyright, but I'm just going to show you the piece of the clip that pertains to Philadelphia. But come to find out, this is happening in several states. Please go to his channel and check out the whole entirety of the video.
What's going on with all of the military movement right now? We're not done yet. Philadelphia, tanks rolling through Philadelphia, reports of that. Here's the video I found on that. So as you can see, very busy city situation. Folks on sidewalks watching numerous tanks roll through the middle of the city. Bizarre. I don't think that this is normal for anybody, seeing the tanks roll right through the middle of the city. And yet again, another military movement that most people are saying this isn't normal. What's going on? Something's happening. So here's the thing. Before I give you what a current Marine has to say about this, let's go over what they're saying. They're putting it out there like this. Several military tanks were spotted across multiple states on Saturday. The clip of the sighting spread across social media like wildfire and garnered views in huge numbers. Several social media users commented on the viral clip. And you're going to find this type of statement everywhere. Again, several tanks spotted, social media on fire. Why are they rolling tanks into the streets of cities? Is something bad about to happen?
As I was researching this, it dawned on me that this sounds just like my something is not right dream. As you can see, I posted this dream May the 30th of last year. And in the dream, it was talking about how the soldiers locked down the city. So I posted the dream here for those of you who don't want to scroll down my playlist and find this dream. I've added it to the video. I believe I said in that dream or a different dream, by the time the people realize that the soldiers are not there to help them, it will be too late. They will already be in full captivity. Hey family, I wanted to post this dream that I just had this morning, or well, last night. And so I wanted to post a video because I think make a video about it because I think it's very important. As usual, I will tell you what I think it means at the end of the dream. So just hang in there with me until the end, and I'll tell you definitely what I think it means. I think it's super, super important. So please hang in all the way to the end. Okay, so the dream started. I'm standing in a cornfield. I don't know where I'm at, but I'm just standing in a cornfield. But the cornfield didn't look like this. In the cornfield was actually behind me and to the left of me. But in the distance, as you see this red barn, there was actually a big silver building. So I was on my way to this big silver building when the corn actually looked like this. And this says that this cornfield is empty. It looked burned up. It was golden like this. It was no green in it. And it was all around me, back behind me. And so as I was on my way into that building, I stopped and I looked up at the clouds, the sky. I just had this ominous feeling. Okay, so in the dream, you're going to hear me say something is not right a lot because that's how many times it was said in a dream. So in the dream, I looked up at the sky and I had this ominous feeling that something is not right. I kept feeling like, I don't know why the thought was in my head, the return of the gods. Something ain't right. If something's not right. So I just kept staring at the clouds and my peace was removed. I had no peace. I was just on in. And I thought something was behind me. It's like I could feel a presence behind me. I turned around in the cornfield, literally expecting to see one of those Greek gods from mythology standing behind me. That's how strong the presence was. But so when I turned around in the dream, it was nothing there, unfortunately. But yet it was definitely a very strong presence behind me, which made me shut down. I just had this really, really uneasy feeling, and I was uncomfortable. I didn't want to talk. I didn't want to do anything. I just wanted to get out of there. So I left the cornfield and I went into that building that I was telling you about. And when I went into a building, there was a young man in that building that I guess I knew. As I was going in, he was on his way out. So we began to walk and talk. In the dream, he was asking me to get him cable TV. He wanted cable TV, but in order to get cable TV, you had to have at least lived in that zip code. So he wanted me to lie and say that I lived in Connecticut and that I lived in Maine. Pay attention to these details because they're going to come back at the end of the dream. He wanted me to lie and say I lived in these two locations so that I could get him cable TV. And I said, okay, I agreed to do it, but I was paranoid that I was going to mess up when I went to the lady to try to set up the service. So I said, come on, let's keep rehearsing this. Let's keep rehearsing this. I lived in Connecticut and I lived in Maine, and I just kept repeating it over and over again.
Then the dream switched, and we was in a car with some female. I'm not sure if I knew this female, and I don't even know where we was going. I don't even know what state we was in or where we was at. But we was driving somewhere, and we were just having random conversation. When all of a sudden the dream switched again, and I'm no longer in the car. I'm standing on the street curb by myself, and as soon as I load into this part of the dream, immediately I say, something is not right. Because I know the first thing I notice is it's nighttime, but it's supposed to be daytime. The sun is supposed to be shining, but there was no sun shining. And I was like, that's not right. And then the second thing I noticed was soldiers. They was coming to me. They was marching toward me. And they was marching like robots. You know how the Chinese soldiers be marching in single, perfectly union? I know I'm saying that wrong. Unison. Well, when the leg go up, it goes down. It goes up, goes down, so that they look perfect like robots. And there was no space in between them. They were shoulder to shoulder, 2 by 2. And so, first thing I realized, I said to myself, when I saw the faces of the soldiers, they wasn't American soldiers. And so I said to the dream again, I was like, something is not right. Something is not right. And so the soldiers, let me go back to this picture. As the soldiers was running toward me, they had a light on them, just like on his chest. It flashed red, and then it did a blue. And in the dream, I said, I've seen that before. These are martial law soldiers. These are martial law soldiers. And just as I said that, I don't know why, but my feet came off the curb, and I began to go toward the soldiers like I was going to bust in between them and break their rank. I don't know why I was doing that. It was like I couldn't control myself, but I just started to do that. And I bumped into one of these soldiers, and he grabbed me, and he took a marker and drawed a black line all the way down my arm. That's when I noticed again something wasn't right, because I was wearing a prison uniform, but it was camouflage. It was like something I'd never seen before. I knew in the dream that mark he gave me was like the mark of Cain. Like when all the soldiers seen me, they was gonna come gunning for me. I knew I needed to get off the main roads. So this is what the prison uniforms look like, but not really. I just got this picture to show you that the prison uniforms was camouflaged. So again, that was weird. So I left the main streets and I went down below. It was weird because the streets was like a parking garage. You know how you got to go down a ramp to the next one? So that's what it was like. And it was all dark in this place. I went down this ramp and I was instantly in like a jail. But it wasn't a jail. It was so strange. It was the streets. The streets had gates on them and bars and guards, and I was in a jail, and I could hear 2 girls back over my shoulder. They was talking. As you can see, you could walk the streets freely, provided you was in that gated perimeter like a jail cell. I could hear 2 girls talking, but I couldn't see the girls. They was just out of my peripheral. And the girls was saying the same as me earlier. Something is not right. And the other girl was like, I know. And so when I heard them say that, I joined in the conversation, and I was like, you're right. Something isn't right. I said, I felt that earlier. I felt like the return of the gods. I felt like the return of like the Greek gods or something like that. Like something just felt weird. And as soon as I said that, I turned back around me and I realized that I'm in this cell. It's like a cell, but not a cell, because you can see the outside streets. I can see everything. And it was this lady who was sitting at the desk, the prison guard. I could see some people on the other side of the bar. They seemed content. Everybody was just kind of talking how something wasn't right, but nobody was really doing anything about it. They was just kind of going along with the program. Yeah. I saw this little bitty cart thing that I could stand on. If I stood up on that cart thing, I could jump over this gate. And so that's what I did. I stood up on the cart and I jumped over the gate, and I was back out into the free world, which all of the streets was free. I just want to say that. But certain areas of the city was locked down, just like jail. Okay? So I jumped over the gate and I was back in the free world. And guess what happened? As I jumped over the gate and I began running down the street, guess what? The sun was shining again. Like it was daytime again. So I told you something wasn't right with that city. Like it was no lights, it was no sun, it was no nothing. The night lights was on. And so when I jumped out the street over the gate and now I'm running, I'm free. I'm running and I'm praying and I'm saying, Lord, tell me which way to go, which way to go. Help me, help me, help me. And I see these two guys are walking along the way, and I can hear their conversation. And one of the guys says to the other guys, he says, something is not right. When I heard him say that, I stopped running and I began to listen to that conversation because everybody is saying this, how something is not right. So the guy right here asked this guy right here, he goes, isn't me and Julia still friends? And then the other guy goes, yeah. And then he says, isn't our birthdays on the same day? And then the guy goes, yeah. And then he begins to count on his finger. He goes, 1, 2, 3, 4. When he gets to 4, he says it again. Something is not right. He says, even the time is wrong. And the dream ended right there. When I woke up, the first thing that popped in my mind was Grace State. Always when you are having these dreams, pay attention to what the Holy Spirit is giving you, because that's important information. Now I'm going to tell you what I think this dream meant. The movie Grace State, the guy that did this documentary, they killed him. They killed him and they killed his family. This documentary was about a totalitarian police state, and how in this movie they was enforcing the mark of the beast, and they was guillotining heads, just like out of the book of Revelations. It was just like out of the book of Revelations. They was chopping off heads. They was enforcing the mark. The cops, the soldiers was shooting people in the heads, and all. It was a lot of pandemonium. So what I think this dream was trying to tell us is when the Antichrist comes, and when he comes with his angels, people are going to feel like something is not right, but they're not going to be able to put their hands on the driving force, what it is that's not right. They're not going to be able to figure it out. They're going to start to look and see, oh, this is a guy. You can find this Grace State thing in my playlist. I saved it for you. Anyway, but the people are going to realize, they're going to see soldiers everywhere, and they're not going to realize that they are indeed locked down. The people are going to be locked down, and they're going to be under martial law. I believe the dream is telling me martial law is coming. During the rise of the Antichrist, when he is at his peak, when he is at his maximum, it's going to be so much debauchery, so much killing, so much soldiers, so much martial law. They're going to be trying to force this thing on people. And when they begin to do that, you can see this is actually a movie, guys, by the way. They're going to be trying to force the mark of the beast on people during this time. And when they begin to do that, they're going to lock down different sectors of the city. That's what the dream was trying to show me, that one part of the sector, the reason why it was dark and it was no light there, because it was under the rule of the Antichrist, under the government. They was running that place. And remember I said that I had to go down to a lower level to get down to the next street, and when I got down there, I was like in a jail, but not really. I believe they're going to target the poor areas first as a disguise of we're wiping poverty. I believe that they're going to target the poor areas first. They're going to begin to lock those states down. Now, remember I said the dream started, I was standing in a cornfield. And the guy wanted me to lie and say that I lived in Maine and I lived in Connecticut. I Googled, does Maine have cornfields? And well, what do you know? Yes, it does. And then I Googled, well, how far is Maine from Chicago? It's an 8-hour drive, an 8-hour, 46-minute drive. So I believe the Holy Spirit was trying to show that when this take over, maybe we're going to see it pop off in Maine and in Chicago first, before it just goes global. Like maybe we'll see it pop off there first. And the people are going to realize this, just something ain't right, but a lot of people is not going to do nothing about it. But we're going to wake up into a police state. Now, when we begin to wake up in a police state, and the police begin to just kill people in public and do all these crazy things. The city is locked down. You can't go here. You can't go there. You can't do this. You can't do that. It's just going to be madness and pandemonium. And I believe that that's going to be the straw that breaks the camel's back. And when that happens, I believe the American citizens are going to say, enough is enough. I believe they're going to start to fight back, which is going to cause a civil war. This is a movie called Defected. I want you to pull it up and read it. It's about the exact same thing. It's about the exact same thing. It's set in the future. Anyway, I don't want to read it to you. Go watch this movie. When that happens, I believe it's going to kick off a civil war. And when the civil war happens, it's going to be us kind of like against them. Regular people just trying to survive and say, you know what, I'm not going to live like this. You're not going to come in here, shoot up my family, do whatever you feel like you want to do. I believe that it's going to start a civil war against us and against them. And they're not even American soldiers anyway. Those are martial law soldiers from somewhere else. Their face looked funny. Their face looked like Chinese soldiers. They even marched and ran like Chinese soldiers, like they was robots. And so I believe that a civil war will start. Now, Klaus Schwab, this is the guy of the World Economic Forum. He was saying that we must prepare for an angrier world. Why is he saying that? Because I believe that people are going to begin to see what they have done to people. What they have done to people. And I believe when people begin to see what is being done to us, how you lose all of our liberties, all of these things going down, enforcing the mark, doing this, killing our families, and tracking our every moves, people are going to begin to rise up and be angry. And they know this. And so they are preparing for it. They are preparing for it. They say you must prepare for an angry world. Now, people were saying that Klaus Schwab wrote this in his book. Then a lot of people came out and debunked it and said that he did not write this in his COVID-19 book. But yet I still thought that this was important enough for us to read it, since it resembled my dream a lot. This was the clearest copy. I searched and searched. I could not find a clear copy, but I can read it for you. It says, euthanasia for the terminally ill and the aged shall be compulsory. No city shall be larger than the predetermined number, as described in the work of Calgary. Essential workers will be moved to other cities if the one they are in becomes overpopulated. Other non-essential workers will be chosen at random and sent to underpopulated cities to fill quotas. At least 4 billion useless eaters shall be eliminated by the year 2050 by means of limited wars, organized epidemics of fatal rapid-acting diseases, and starvation. Energy, food, and water shall be kept at subsistent levels for the non-elite, starting with the white populations of Western Europe and North America, and then spreading to other races. The population of Canada, Western Europe, and the United States will be decimated more rapidly than other continents until the world population reaches a manageable level of 1 billion, of which 500 million will consist of Chinese and Japanese races, selected because they are people who have been regimented for centuries and who are accustomed to obeying authority without question. From time to time, there shall be a artificially contrived food and water shortages as medical care to remind the masses that their very existence depends on the goodwill of the Committee of 300. And there you have it. So that's what I think that dream was trying to show us, that martial law is coming. Cities will be locked down. The return return of the gods, these false gods. I believe that gods are coming, and when they're going to rule with the iron fist under the guise of military law enforcement. It is going to be just like the movie Gray State. Go to my playlist, scroll down to the bottom, and you will see the guy who made the movie. You will hear him talk about it in the documentary, and you can even see snippets of the movie. They killed that man for making that movie, and they stopped the movie from coming to pass. So that's what I think the dream means. I hope that this dream bless you. If you got something different from it, please let me know. Oh, remember the cornfield was dry, so that was no food. That's why the cornfield was dry and like burned up. It was no food. So just remember that, and I pray it bless y'all. Okay, bye-bye.